Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now we're taking a closer look at Dent here today, which is Dent Wireless. I've been following this one for a while, of course. I've got a really good community through Dent, and I can tell you that it's probably pretty much worthwhile investing in, but we want to help you find the right entry point, of course. That's the whole point of these charts that we're going to look at for the technical analysis, is to ensure that you can find a good entry and learn something along the way. So just know I'm not a financial advisor. Please always do your own research, but I can tell you will learn a thing or two if you stick around. So I appreciate you joining me here, as well as the fact that there is a link in the description below for our Telegram community. You can also learn and absorb tons of information if you check that out as well. There's also $25 in Bitcoin from Voyager. Feel free to reference that. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right to it. Alright folks, let's go ahead and take a look at Dent Wireless. And just before we do, I'd like to preface the fact that I always like to look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first, kind of set a baseline, because obviously Bitcoin is a catalyst for a lot of price movement, as well as the fact that Ethereum, majority of the coins that I cover are on the Ethereum network as well. So just be aware of that. So let's take a quick look at Bitcoin first. So here is Bitcoin. And today's been interesting. At least the last, 8 hours have been interesting, because we lost support at 57,000. So if you see this here, right at this guy is about 57,000, the 200-day moving average. Again, it's a really important moving average because everything kind of relies on it. It either stays above or stays below. Right now it's fighting both ways. So what's interesting here is that we lost the support there. Price came all the way down to the 100-day moving average and bounced off of it. Now, I'm not sure if that's relevant here or if there's some kind of fundamental things that we need to know about, but I can tell you based on charts alone, it looks like the 100-day moving average was a support, bounced off, and now it's trying to recover. So we'll just take a quick peek at the 15-minute. It's coming back up a little bit, but we'll see what happens soon. But this is likely the main reason why everything you might see right now took a hit. Okay? Now, even though a lot of the coins I like to cover are not exactly reliant on Bitcoin, no matter how you look at it, it's just kind of the foundation, right? Bitcoin does terrible, everything else does as well, for the most part. So that's Bitcoin. Looking at Ethereum, Ethereum was also impacted here too. And you can see this here, massive sell-off where it went down all the way to about 32,000, up from 34.5. Jeez, Ethereum is killing it lately. But yeah, price is right around 33,000 at this point, plus or minus, so you can tell that that was impacted as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at Dent now. Now I like to start with the one-day chart and work my way down, so we can kind of find a good entry point. And for me, a good entry point is usually identified on the 15 and or 5 or 1 minute charts. Okay, so we'll work our way down there. But for now, let's go ahead and take a look at the one-day chart. So here is the one day for Dent. Sorry, can I get zoomed in here for you guys? So taking a look, as we can see, the 50-day moving average might be lost as a support level, or it might still be considered a support just with a large variance. We'll see how the next couple of days go, but this may be working as a resistance level soon. We'll see how that works, but I'm hopeful that it'll come back up. I feel like this is just because of what happened with Bitcoin today. I don't think it's much to read into, because you can see that Dent is kind of in a consolidation phase right here, trying to find its true price, and there's kind of a low average true range minus what you see that happened today. I don't think it's anything to worry about personally, but I just wanted to kind of note that this is all Bitcoin right here. And for the most part too, you can kind of see that it is following Bitcoin within reason, because Bitcoin had the same increase a few days ago. It's been channeling and tapered off today. So let's look at some quick indicators. RSI, right in the middle. Nothing to be worried about, neither oversold or overbought. MACD, also in the middle. Nothing going on there, not a strong position, bearish or bullish, regardless of what happened today. I feel like this is temporary. If Bitcoin bounces back up to 57,000, it'll probably be as if it never happened within another 24. So that's kind of what we're looking at there for Dent on the 1-day chart. 4-hour chart. This is the most, I don't know, my favorite chart. I think it carries the most weight when it comes to the indicators. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here. First of all, I'm going to remove this from the previous wedge pattern and then just go ahead and see, because we do have a support level right at about 0.01. That is the 1 cent line I drew last time we reviewed this. So I'm going to extend that out because it does appear that it could very well be another strong support level. Still, even though it broke past that, it came up and above, and there's likelihood this red bar could close above the 1 cent line or at that sign, and that would be a good indication for us because of the fact that it would be holding above that line, regardless of the variance where it came below and closed above. So that's all good. The RSI is fairly low, which is also a good sign, so that's an indication of a buy signal. But again, nothing. We don't want to look at just that to take entry. We want to look at a smaller time frame to identify a good entry point, but that is a positive technical sign, as well as the fact that the MACD is really not saying much. Honestly, it's right in the middle. It's still considered neutral, so neither bullish or bearish momentum at this point, which is actually kind of good because that's essentially what it's been doing for a while. And with this consolidation phase, I'm happy with it, kind of in a state of indecision, because it's still working within those moving averages. So let's take a look at that here. So the moving averages, first of all, this yellow one is a 50-day moving average. It was working as a support. It recently broke, but again, if it wasn't for Bitcoin, I have a feeling that it likely would have continued as a support. All right. We also have a 100-day moving average as a support. It was tested and rejected here essentially a moment ago. Again, I don't think that matters that much because Bitcoin essentially drove the price down and it's recovering now. But that is something to note, that is working as a support level. It's been tested 1, 2, 3, 4 times minus today. The 200-day moving average, however, will be another major resistance level we want to kind of focus on, even more so than this previous resistance of 0.0135. That being said, the price recovers and continues back up. We want to see how it reacts to the 200-day moving average, because it is likely going to be the next resistance level, because as you can see here previously, it said not going to happen. Right here, it was tested 3 times and rejected in a 12-hour period. So again, just something to note, that is essentially what we're looking at right now. So we still have seemingly a strong support level at 1 cent, with a potential resistance at 0.012, and a stronger resistance level, which we will see get tested perhaps later down the road at about 0.0135. Okay, and then if we do end up losing the support, there may be a couple other support levels we could look at. Right around here, about 0.009 is another perhaps major support level that was tested multiple times. We'll bridge that gap when we get there, but at this time I feel like this support level is going to hold. Again, depending on how Bitcoin wants to react. So I think that's what we're looking at there. All right, let's look at the 15-minute chart next. And the 15-minute chart is no surprise. We see that sharp decrease in price. Price is under VWAP right now too. That makes perfect sense. But there's that 1 cent line right there. So you can see it's trying to fight above and stay above. We'll see in the next few moments how that reacts. Because then, even though these are 2 solid green bars right here, that doesn't necessarily mean this is a good entry point, because of the price action, the way that things have worked. We're below all the moving averages on the 15-minute chart, which again aren't super relevant, but until the price tests the VWAP, I would recommend waiting to take a position. Or if you do take a position right now, wait a little further for confirmation and see kind of if the price stays level with the 1 cent line. Because if it does, then you may consider taking a small entry. Again, I wouldn't recommend it, but it wouldn't hurt to average down if you have a price higher than that, and you're going to hold on for longer anyways, right? Because a lot of my Dent followers, my subscribers, they are super enthusiastic. They have, they're in it for the long haul, right? So why not take advantage of this little dip if possible to average your price down a little bit? That wouldn't be a bad idea. But if you're just simply looking for a very short-term swing trade and or a, like a scalp, for example, on a, just a few moments within a day trade, then this you would want to wait for a slightly better confirmation. Even though we do see two solid green bars here, I would maybe consider waiting a moment longer just to verify. But good thing is RSI is in very good shape. When you see the inverse here of what normally happens when it peaks up high and falls back down, it came really low and it's increasing back up. So it's only natural for there to be kind of an equilibrium. So again, that is a positive indication, technical sign to buy. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. Take maybe a look at the 1 minute chart. See what the price action looks like here. And I always like to turn these guys off. And of course, big surprise, price is trending under VWAP. It will likely be doing so for a little while unless the price shoots up here soon. So honestly, with what I see here, the RSI getting closer to, it's right around 65. I don't love taking entries at this point, just because I usually, if you see this happen, if you see these increases in immediate sell-off, that could likely happen again, because the way that Bitcoin just moved, I don't feel super comfortable with this, but that's me personally, right? The technical signs here are telling us that the RSI is a little overextended, which again, this isn't super important. The RSI on the 1 minute chart really isn't like the best indication of a buy signal, but that is still a positive technical sign. However, the price is still trending under VWAP, and I personally don't like taking entry under VWAP. I like to wait for confirmation above and then consider adding to my position. So that's kind of my thoughts there. But looking at the 15-minute chart, like I said previously, if you are only going to do a short-term swing trade, you might want to wait a little bit longer for confirmation, let it test that support level a couple more times, and then obviously see how it reacts to the VWAP. If it breaks above and then continues to hold, then I would recommend maybe consider adding to your position. But again, we want to wait for 2 solid green bars before you do that. That'd be my recommendation there. Other than that, honestly, not much else to extract here, because the fact that Bitcoin did its thing, it's going to recover, and we really just got to see how Bitcoin performs over the next couple of days, because at this point it does seem like Dent is fairly reliant on Bitcoin's success. Okay. So just be cautious, be wise, always wait for confirmation, don't get hasty and just jump all in. It wouldn't hurt to add to your position if you have one already, especially if you have a higher position over 1 cent. It wouldn't be terrible to add to your position here if you know you're going to be holding this for a few days, few weeks, few months, right? So that wouldn't be a terrible idea. But again, extremely short-term trade, just in and out, wait for confirmation and ensure that you find a good entry point first. Yeah. So hopefully you found benefit from this. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll just try to keep a closer eye on this as well as a few others as we progress, because even when the market's not extremely awesome, I still like to cover these things to make sure we can find good entry points, because honestly, when the price is low, those are essentially the better times to get in, versus when all the the hype train comes into town and everyone tries to jump on board and the damn thing crashes into a barrel of rocks. We don't like that, right? That's not fun, that's not great. Stuff like this is actually ideal. So in all reality, pay attention to the times when the price does decrease to find a good entry point, because that's when we want to invest. Anyways, more on that later. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you in the next video.